cordially welcome all of you to this fourth WWEA webinar, which is part of a series of webinars that we started a little bit more than a month ago, with different topics covering different areas of wind energy utilization. And I'm very happy to welcome you in particular to this webinar, which is about small wind and small wind turbines and how to use small wind turbines to achieve self-sufficiency of their energy supply. So the idea of this webinar is to give you a very practical idea of what you need to consider when you want to use a small wind turbine, because many people are interested, and we've noticed that there's not so much knowledge available about the topic. So as we start, I would like to say, of course, welcome again to everyone, to our speakers, to our audience here. A special thank you at this point of time already to our partners, to the Distributed Internet Association, to the German Small Wind and of course to our WWEA supported German project. Let me also ask all of you, those who are not speaking, to stay muted while we have the presentations. If you have any questions, any particular questions, then please use the chat function. And at the end of the webinar, given of course there is enough time, we may also open the floor to ask for oral questions and have some kind of discussion. But for the time being, please, as I said, everybody stays muted, aside from the speaker. We will also, of course, as in the past, record this webinar, so please be aware of that. It will be published on our website connected to the YouTube channel that we have. So please be aware, if you contribute to the webinar, and you're highly encouraged to do so, that might also be published at a later point of time. Let me also mention that, of course, we are very organizations, companies, supporting our work, and I'd like to invite everyone who likes our work, who wants to support our work. Two ways how you can do that. One is join WWEA, member. Then, of course, you're part of our network, and we're very happy that we have a very broad network, which I think is also beneficial, has a direct benefit. Secondly, we have also various sponsorship options for companies that want to present themselves during these webinars, where we really have a very international audience. So I can see there is a comment here, turn off your micros. I actually do not hear any sound at this point of time, but again, let me repeat that those who are not speaking, please mute your microphones, and the speaker then, of course, should be unmuted. With this, I would like to welcome Peter Ray, our president of the World Wind Energy Association, based in Australia at the moment, speaking to us from your home in Launceston, Tasmania. Peter, I have the pleasure to invite you to welcome our participants.
Thank you very much. Well, a warm welcome. I trust that for many of those who are joining this webinar that they're having fair weather in the Northern Hemisphere. We're having quite a reasonable autumn in the Southern Hemisphere. So welcome to all of those who are involved. So far as we're concerned, the WWEA, as Stefan has just said, this is the fourth of the webinars, which are a series of making up for the fact that the coronavirus has made it so that meetings are no longer able to be held physically. We're able to have these webinars to discuss issues of importance. And what could be more important at this time than looking at the role which small wind can play in adding to the role which wind energy generation can play in the world, in the developing world, in the rollover to renewables world. And it's very important that we believe that all aspects of the world of wind should be able to be discussed and developed. There is a role for small wind in many parts of the world. It can add to, in particular locations, the availability of wind-generated electricity. I know in my own state, in Australia, I've been involved in the development of a number of small wind, individual wind turbines on islands and in the more remote areas located for particular farmers and others. And this is something which I think we can see taking place around a large part of the world. There is a market. There's also a case where the small wind generation is able to provide for that market. But I think we'd have to say that both the market and the development of the machinery can be taken further. This discussion, I hope, will be about taking further the role which it can play, the development of the market and the development of the wind turbines themselves. So with those thoughts as a background and as a start, I look forward to being able to hear the rest of the contributions which you are all about to hear. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Peter. And with this, indeed, we have now very pleasant weather, at least here in Bonn at our head office. It's about 20 degrees and sunny. Very good for solar, for sure, but we also have some wind. With this, I would then ask Morten Petersen, who is based in Denmark, who is Vice President of the World Wind Energy Association. You're also Chairman of the Danish Small Wind Association and chairing our small wind section. Morten, may I invite you to welcome our participants?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here. And hi, everyone. The webinar today is about self-sufficiency, or you can say self-supplying, or somebody will call it prosumers. It's an item which is very important around in the world, that people are able to support or to supply themselves with electricity. And it is obvious that the use of small wind turbines will be a very good option. They work day and night whenever you have wind. I would like to categorize the small wind in three different types. We have a so-called micro wind, which is up to 800 watts, and that is for somebody actually recognized as toys, but they can actually, where it is needed for summer houses or other places, it can be used to produce the electricity you need. Then you have the next step, which is up to 5 or 6 kilowatt, and these are suitable for heat pumps and other usage for the household, dependent on that you have a medium wind or an average wind in about 5 to 6 or 7 meters per second. Then you have a third type, which is up to 50 kilowatt. Some places only 25 kilowatts. But that is where neighbors can go together to make some kind of community power, you can call it, or you can just gain together having a larger wind turbines. I think it has been quite a good program which has been made for today. We have Patrick Jutterman, just common mistakes with the small wind turbines. We have Sven Ruin, how to choose the right small wind turbine. We have Mike Berkey representing his wind turbine as well, and experience with that. We have Juan de Bonnet about small wind and solar, that means hybrids. And we have Pia Jacobsen telling about the robust Danish wind turbine design. And at last we have Jean-Daniel Pilot, who will talk about the platform we have for small wind. What I also would like to say here is that WWEA has, together with the Folkesen and the Danish Association and the Chinese Association, made the catalog for small wind. And within this catalog, we are doing a new issue right now. It has not finished yet, but it will finish soon. And there you will find a lot of almost all wind turbines on the market. There are some in the catalog, you will find some things where you say, well, there are things we cannot be shown in the catalog because it can only be shown what the manufacturers actually tell us. And therefore it is, sometimes it's not 100% what you get of information from the catalog. And of course, I would like to point out that twice a year we have international webinars for small wind, also here in Denmark, which all of you, of course, are very welcome to attend to as well. But that was a short introduction, and I really wish all of you welcome. And then I think that I'll give the word back to Stefan.
Thank you, Morten, and greetings to Denmark. A pleasure to have you. Just for kind of clarity, the working definition that we're using, also being aware, of course, of the more refined, is that that when we talk about small wind, formally we speak about 0 to 100 kilowatt. Of course, knowing that there is differentiation between those segments. So the statistics always refer to that up to 100 kilowatt. That's when you look at our website, but John at the end will certainly be able to present you more details because he's very knowledgeable regarding how to put these figures together.